What's good, guys? Welcome back to the UCC channel once again. I'm of course Checkmate, coach of the Twickenham Passimian, and I'll be your host today for today's post-commentary battle and review of my Season 10 Week 5 match and team builder against Wouter, coach of the Scaling Shaymin. So far this season we are in fact 2-2 after a big, very lucky 6-0 win against Ben last week. And we're looking to achieve the same result today. Will be I feel that will be very, very helpful going on towards the latter parts of the season. But yeah, looking to keep a win streak alive. So just going to run over our team quickly. Same as always, we have our Tier 1 Mega Voltaria, our Tier 1 of Magiana, Tier 2s of Celebi, Mamoswine and Mandibuzz, Tier 3s of Meneor, Cobalion and Tentacruel, Tier 4s of Virizion, Moltres and Ambipom, and Tier 5 of the Miltank. My opponent this week has a very threatening team, and plenty of opportunity to surprise me through unconventional sets and strategies, similarly to Ben last week. Wouter is known for being can be very creative, and although he hasn't had much luck in the season so far, he always seems to put up a good fight in games against, particularly with me, are often really close. So running over a quick brief overview of his team, he has Tier 2 Mega this week of Gyarados, he has Tier 1s of Heatran, Zapdos, Landorus, Therian, he has one Tier 2 of Gengar, he has Tier 3s of Amoonguss, Gastrodon and Gardevoir, Tier 4 of Zoroark, Tier 5s of Xatu, Togedemaru and Shedinja. So, looking at the team I have brought, and obviously he has a lot of Tier 1 threats. He has all three are very, very strong. I think that the Heatran is a little bit less likely to come, potentially. Because I have quite a lot of potential ground coverage. Certainly the 6 I've brought, the only one which can't really touch it is the Mandibuzz, and then it doesn't particularly get threatened too much by the Heatran itself. So I'm not sure if that's going to make an appearance, but Landorus Therian I'm 100% expecting. I think that thing is very, very strong no matter what. The Zapdos again, it's very, very good, and it could potentially be one of his a few switch-ins to the Mega Altaria. So it's something to definitely consider when I'm working on the team, what I actually think he's going to bring. Other things, Mega Gyarados, he's brought it I think every game so far, and it's putting in a fair bit of work, obviously with that Dragon Dance set with the Mold Breaker as well. It can certainly threaten some of my team. But I've battled Gyarados in the past, and I had a Mandibuzz and it was very effective, so I'm expecting a similar sort of result with that. Other things that are potentially bringing, I'm expecting Gastrodon, I'm expecting Amoonguss potentially. Again, it's a fairly good switch into Altaria without much of a problem. I think Gengar actually has a fairly reasonable offensive matchup as well. And actually looking at the team now, the team I've built to get Amaru actually puts in quite a lot of work, so that could potentially be a problem, although I'm not hugely expecting it. So yeah, Gardevoir again, he does like to run that thing scarfed, so I have a few things that I have considered to work around that. So let's dive straight into the team, and as you can see we have our Mega Altaria as the first mon to bring. So we've decided to go for a Dragon Dance variant this week, with the Return and Earthquake full coverage. That's all we need offensively, and then we actually have the Ice Beam as well for the Landorus should he want to come in and intimidate us. We do obviously have that special attack of the Ice Beam, and I think it's guaranteed to Turkey. I don't think without investment we can't one-shot it, so having a guaranteed Turkey means that potentially if he gets to intimidate us, we can, after Stealth Rocks or something, we'll be able to get a lot of damage off with an Ice Beam. So I'm expecting that to put in some work. He doesn't really have much in the way as a dedicated switch aside of the Amoonguss, I reckon. So I reckon once we weaken the Amoonguss, this is going to be able to put in a lot of work. It's so much of his team very, very hard. Obviously if he brings that Shedinja, we can't touch it, but we do have plenty of other things on the team which can obviously counter that. So we obviously got the natural cure as well. If he wants to try and status, we can switch it and take a sponge and then double back out again. So continuing on, we have our specially defensive Miltank. This is really our best switch in to the both the Gardevoir and the Gengar. Neither one can really touch it, I think it's designed to really check the Gengar, because Gengar could be a real problem. I mean, he likes to bring a Focus Sash, could quite easily be Specs or Scarfed. So working around that, we have Milrun and Miltank. Obviously the Scrappy just enables us to hit the Gengar. We also have the Stealth Rock, which is going to be very nice. His only real hazard removal options are the Zapdos, Landorus and the Xatu. I'm not hugely expecting Xatu, it doesn't really have a great matchup. And Landorus is often brought offensively, so I'm only, if he does bring it, it's going to be on the Zapdos. So we do threaten that with the Ice Punch. I've got the leftovers, a bit of recovery in between. And just a little bit of investment, if he doesn't have investment, speed investment, as Zapdos will outspeed that as well. So yeah, that is Miltank's role this week, just keeping the special defensive ones in check really. Continuing on, we have our Mandibuzz. Got Overcoat for the Spore, potentially on the Amoonguss. Don't have to worry about that then. Fully physically defensive, completely checks the Landorus, checks the Gyarados. What else has he got there? He checks, I mean, potentially checks the Zoroark if he decides to bring a physical variant, though not hugely likely. I mean, most of his team is special this week, but Mandibuzz is very bulky, so I mean, it's very unlikely that unless it's an offensive Moonblast from the Gardevoir, that someone's going to be able to one-shot it anyway. So you've got the Foul Play, U-Turn, Taunt and Roost. It's also, there it actually checks his defensive core. It keeps it whittled down quite handily, I reckon. Obviously not the Amoonguss very well with the Regenerator, but we can stop him recovering with the Gastrodon. And we threaten the Xatu out with a Foul Play, which also incidentally does a lot of damage to the Gyarados and the Landorus, and obviously the things like the Gengar. Going to take a lot of damage as well. So yeah, not a hugely important role as such. There's only a couple of things which it really needs to be there for, but they are very likely to come, so it's something that I've definitely needed to bring this week. So we now have our Moltres, which has a really good matchup. His only real switch into this is the Heatran and the Gastrodon. Obviously the Gyarados is there, but that also gets blown away by a Gracium Z. So I'm not expecting it to hang around too long, especially as we outspeed it with our speed investment as well. So yeah, designed to outspeed max speed Gyarados. We can't outspeed Landorus unfortunately, but we do obviously outspeed the Heatran and stuff like that as well anyway. So we got the Flamethrower, Solar Beam, Hidden Power, Ground and Roost. We've got enough, as I say, enough speed for the Gyarados, and we have max special attack with a bit of HP just for a little bit of bulk. We've got the Gracium Z, which is designed to absolutely blow away either the Gyarados or the Gastrodon, which would be his primary switch-ins, which enables the door to be opened up for things like Mamoswine later on as well. So, very simple roll, and it hits very, very hard. So, Hidden Power Ground is there for the Heatran, which would be his other switch-in. So it's got plenty of opportunity to actually put in a lot of work this week for Moltres, so very excited to see how this does. Moving to Mamoswine, we have an Adamant Life Orb Mamoswine with enough speed for something. 238 speed. It's uninvested base one. I think that outspeeds uninvested Zapdos. So we've got the Ice Crash, Ice Shard, Earthquake and Freeze Dry with the Lonely Nature. So Freeze Dry is there if we want to predict the incoming Gyarados. That's going to get huge damage on that. It's unlikely we're going to click it. We can definitely try to predict it, but I don't think most of the time it's worthwhile. We have a good switch in being Mandibuzz anyway, so I don't think it's worth going all out in trying to predict it. But yeah, we are going to get so much damage done from the Ice Crash, Ice Shard and Earthquake that doesn't have any switch in. Late game this thing is just going to tear through the rest of his team, I'm sure. It's got a very simple role and I feel like it's going to be very effective this week. Last of all we have our Choice Scarf Tentacruel. We've got the Liquid Ooze, it's just kind of there for the Amoonguss if he wants to Giga Drain us. He doesn't really have anything else he'd rather use. We're not affected by Intimidator or anything either, and he doesn't have stuff like Sticky Webs. So don't need the clear body. So this is going to outspeed a Scarf Landorus. It's our check to that potentially, should we need one. It's got Scald, Sludge Bomb, Ice Beam, Rapid Spin. Scald hits his team really, really hard. Doesn't obviously hit the Gastrodon. We could potentially have a Giga Drain for that, but I've decided against it this week. We've decided to opt for the Sludge Bomb instead, because I feel like it's going to be more helpful for us to hit the Gyarados. So we don't want that thing trying to set a substitute up on us. And it also hits the Gardevoir, which I'm thinking is more likely going to be Scarf. So we'll be able to get like 75% off of that or something with a Sludge Bomb. Ice Beam's there to hit the Zapdos and the Landorus, and there's obviously the Xatu as well, if we don't decide to go for that Sludge Bomb. But I think he's got pretty much perfect neutral coverage, can't hit the... In fact, quite a lot of our team doesn't hit the Shedinja, but I'm not really expecting it to come. We've got a few things on our team which really do threaten it, so it shouldn't really be too much of a problem. But yeah, that is the team we have for this week. I feel like it's going to put in a lot of work. I do foresee there potentially being a few hiccups along the way. I think that with the team I built to get Amaru could be a problem if it comes, although unlikely. Again, similarly with Shedinja, if we don't get the Stealth Rock up early, potentially that's a problem. And if we let the Landorus set up with a Rock Polish and Swords Dance, Double Dance, that could be a problem as well, especially with Z. But yeah, let me know what you reckon on the team, and we're going to move straight on into the battle. Okay, so we are now in the battle with Wouter. As you can see, it is a few days later. But that's okay, it's not a problem at all. So as you can see on screen, he's decided to bring his Togedemaru, his Landorus Therian, his Mega Gyarados, his Gardevoir, his Zapdos, and his Gengar. So looking at his team, I may have just a little bit under-prepped for Togedemaru. Its dual stabs really hurt my team. The only thing which really wants to take it on is Miltank. So if I'm gonna, and obviously with the Iron Head, Zing Zaps, he's got a really good chance he can actually paralyze me as well. With stuff, does it get Nuzzle? It might do. He's got stuff like Static on the Zapdos as well. So yeah, I'm expecting Togedemaru to actually be quite a problem. Furthermore, Landorus again could be a threat if it's dual dance set. I think Mandibush should be able to check it just fine. And obviously if it's a Scarf variant, we do have our Scarf Tentacruel to check that as well. He does really like Scarf Gardevoir, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if he decides to bring something along those sorts of lines. Gyarados, I've got to be really careful not letting it set up, because it's not going to take as much as I'd like from Foul Play from Mandibuzz, which is going to be quite heavily pressured in this game from his two powerful offensive threats. Next he has Zapdos. Zapdos, it has a reasonable matchup. Obviously it gets stuff like Heat Wave to threaten my Mamoswine, but I reckon that the Altaria should be able to check it just fine. Obviously Dragon Dance, so we can set up on it. If it's not Thunder Wave, then he won't be able to do anything to us really. HP Ice isn't going to do that much. And lastly he has that Gengar, which I think was the main reason we brought Miltank, so yeah. I think overall it's not a bad matchup. Mamoswine has a fantastic matchup if we make the right play. If we read him to go into Gyarados, click Freeze Dry, that thing is going to take a huge amount of damage. Gardevoir don't want him to take Ice Shards, Zapdos doesn't take Crashes, Gengar, Ditto. So I mean, it hits the team really hard. Moltres also is looking pretty solid, outspeeding basically half his team. He outspeeds Gyarados. If he's not Scarf Landorus, then I might outspeed that. Depends if he's running max speed or not. Potentially Gardevoir, and more than likely a bulky Zapdos. So yeah, it shouldn't take too much for Altaria to get some work done. Just need to, I mean, it could be some like Scarf Gengar, so I need to make sure I can at least find out if it is Scarf. If it's not, we are going to be rolling in joy for that. So yeah, overall matchup's looking okay, so let's just dive straight into it. So starting off, we're going to lead off with our Choice Scarf Tentacruel. I'm not expecting, I was kind of expecting to lead with Landorus if he wants to get up Stealth Rock or something. But he's just going to lead with Togedemaru, so we just get to hard switch into our Miltank, and we're pretty sure he's going to go into Zapdos, but it means we could just get up our Stealth Rock. If he's not Defog variant, then Stealth Rocks are going to be here to stay, which is going to be very helpful, and we do have Ice Punch for the Zapdos. We do actually get a critical hit, and he paralyzes us. And this para could end up being problematic if we do end up encountering para flinch on the Togedemaru. But he does reveal the defog, so we can just keep clicking Stealth Rocks. Because we have more Stealth Rock than he has defog. Just get a little bit of chip on the Zapdos, but we do actually get Freeze here. So I felt a bit bad for that. I told him I'll go into my Tentacruel to thaw him with Scald. He actually wakes up, dethaws, and he actually gets a Thunderbolt off. So that'll teach me to try and be kind, but yeah, he's just going to Thunderbolt me. I'm just going to make a switch into Mamoswine, which is absolutely fine. So we can threaten him with a Icicle Crash, of course. He actually goes hard into the Gengar, which is obviously, it actually reveals to be Focus Sash. We aren't choiced of any kind, so we can just fire off an Ice Shard and take out the Gengar. So this is going to free up Altaria for the later game, which is going to be very, very helpful. Knowing that he doesn't have something which is sashed, and we can easily sweep him to get a Dragon Dance up. So going to go hard into Mandibuzz on the Togedemaru, get a little bit of chip, and that means we can just go for a U-turn on his switch out. So we get to go into our Scarf Tentacruel. We're going to do a huge amount of damage with the Sludge Bomb. Could potentially poison. We don't get poison, but that's okay, because he's now in range of the Ice Shard from our Mamoswine. So we're just going to go into Mamoswine, and we are just going to fire off the Earthquake. Actually, I thought he'd go into Togedemaru here. I didn't expect him to stay in at all. I did heavily consider the Freeze Drive, but I thought it would be a little bit risky. I thought he'd actually predict the Ice Shard and go into the Resist. So I thought I'd try and catch that Togedemaru. Very unfortunate, we actually get our Rocky Helmet knocked off here. That's going to mean we don't actually check the Togedemaru as such, because it's now not taking that little bit of extra damage. But fortunately for us, that Ice Shard does a huge amount of damage, so it shouldn't be too bad for wearing this thing down unless it is a Wish Protect set. If it's a Wish Protect set, we are going to be in a bit of a pickle, I reckon. And as you can see, that Zing Zap does absolutely negligible damage. It does absolutely nothing. So yeah, we actually draw out its Corkscrew Crash by going into our Mamoswine, and that worked out really well. We get a Roost off here. He didn't flinch us, which is fantastic, because Mandibuzz is very important in this game. So just going to go into the Miltank here. We unfortunately are paralysed, but we should be able to weaken it into the range of the Ice Shard from Mamoswine, which is the goal. So we do get paralysed on that, but he's still not doing any sort of damage to us, just 20, so we can easily check this. There's going to be a little bit of stalling here, just hoping I don't get flinched. I just need to get a little bit of chip off. I'm okay with sacking Miltank here, because we don't need Miltank desperately now. And with that body slam damage, he is now in range of the Ice Shard, which is a guaranteed roll, assuming he isn't max HP or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure at this point he is not. So we get paralysed here. I don't think that really mattered. We're just going to sack off Miltank here to the Earthquake, which is going to give us a free switch into our Mamoswine, should we want to do that. It's a great play. Ice Shard is going to knock him out from this range, which we do actually up catching the Togedemaru, and I am so pleased he sacked this thing off, because it actually outspeeds the rest of our team, and it would have been able to do quite a lot of damage, especially if you got a flinch on something. I'm actually going to switch out on this Gardevoir here, and that is for the primary reason that if I Ice Shard and knock out this Gardevoir, that gives him an opportunity to go into his Gyarados, which can then set up the Dragon Dance, and that is not good. My Mandibuzz is only around 50%, and I don't think it's going to take a +1 Waterfall. If you've got Ice Fang or something, that's going to really hit Altaria hard, and I don't really want to play about with that. So I'm actually going to pull a switch into my Moltres here. He's Choice Scarfed. He could just go for a Psychic or a Moon. I actually predicted him to go for a Moonblast, predicting me to go into some other Mandibuzz. However, he goes for an Energy Ball. Just wanted to kill this Mamoswine, which works even better because it does even less. It's 4 times resistant. So that's great. Moltres here has basically the opportunity to claim a kill. So what we can do here is just fire off a big hit, Flamethrower, and it's going to weaken the Gyarados a little bit. And because he has to Mega Evolve this turn, we do outspeed, and we have the Gracium Z. So we're just going to knock this Gyarados straight out with the Bloom Doom, which is fantastic. It now means that Mamoswine wins. There's nothing he can really do about it. We're going to get a huge amount of chip off with the critical Flamethrower. Just sack off to the Rock Slide. Just go into Mamoswine and we click Ice Shard 3 times and we win. So this was quite possibly a very problematic game. He's had a very interesting season so far, and it was certainly one that he could have pulled out of the bag if he didn't sack the Togedemaru, in my opinion. This Zapdos is going to drop to the Icicle Crash, so yeah. Very good game to Wouter. Yeah, that Togedemaru, I wish I'd prepped for it harder because I did not play around it very well at all. If I still had the Rocky Helmet on Mandibuzz, I would have been fine. Because I can just roost on it, and it's doing no types of damage to me, so that was pretty golden. But yeah, that means we are now 3-2 this season, continuing moving on, which is great. Gaining some momentum after our first couple of losses this season. And next week is week 6. I think we play Alan? We might play Alan again. Let me go and double check. Oh. I think we play Alan. Oh, this is taking way too long to load. Week 6 we play Alan, yes. So we're having our rematch against Alan. Very excited for that. That's going to be a cracking game. Obviously looking for our revenge for our week 1 mishap. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do leave a like and comment down below. And, well, if you didn't, leave a dislike and leave some constructive criticism in the comments below. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later.